welcome to Funding by Alex. Today I would like to talk to you about the pitch deck and the components, the ask and the spend. So after you've introduced yourself, you basically define the market, how much you want to capture of the market, how you're going to do it, who is going to do it. This is basically the team that you're putting together. In essence, your plan. Then you're moving to the ask. The ask is actually the budget you're asking or the money you're asking from the investor to fund whatever idea you're presenting. So it's the money you need to carry out your plan. So keep this in mind. Be specific and be realistic about how much you need. So there are founders who say, see, how much do you think I can get? Now, that's not the right order. You have an idea that has a cost to capture the market. Of course, you can always build into your ask a certain buffer. So you need a little bit more money to cushion the unexpected, so to speak. But the idea is actually not like, oh, give me $1 million and I'll build you a business that is profitable and will grow and will be the wildest expectations that you have will come true. Now, would you invest in a company like that without any clue on like what the money will be spent on? So this is basically the thing I've seen too often where people are very enthusiastic, which is good, and then don't really think through the entire thing about asking for the money and what they're going to do with it. So the best way to go about it, in my opinion, works for me, is scenario building. So you have, in essence, multiple years that you would like to, build your company. So you are asking for money to have this runway. So the runway is normally, it's a terminology that is used often in investments. Runway is actually where the plane has to take off. So if the runway is longer, the plane has longer to take off. So in essence, it's when the plane or the idea, the company takes off, the runway actually has been sufficient. If the plane crashes, before it can take off, the runway was too short or just simply took too long to get off the runway. Now, scenario building means that with different budgets, meaning like, okay, we're going to raise this, I'm going to do this. This is the worst case scenario, there's a base case, and there is a best case, upscale potential, upside potential, basically. So, in essence, you have to work with three different scenarios at least to make sure that investors have an idea. Okay, you've thought this through. So if everything goes wrong, tomorrow World War III could break out. Then everybody's done. But thing is, like there are many other things that are less bad than that. That could influence the success or failure of your company. So scenario building is a very important thing to think ahead and let especially investors know that you think ahead. It doesn't necessarily have to come true, of course, that the scenario is playing out like that, but at least you have given the impression, okay, I've thought about this, I'm able to do this, I covered all the angles, so to speak. So then we come to the details. So you would basically say, like, I am looking for an investment of $1 million for 20% of my company. So basically that comes to the valuation. Your valuation is something you don't have to put in the pitch deck. That is the math that the investors will do. But basically, details of the spending. So, how are you going to spend the money in order to achieve your goal, achieve the plan? So, more specific is better. I know in some cases you might not have all the details because it's difficult to think of everything in advance. But let's say machines that you need to buy, equipment that you need to buy, people you need to hire, a certain marketing campaign. Not like I'm going to spend $500,000 on marketing and the rest on equipment. No, you have to basically define it, specify it, itemize it. So, okay, this is computers, this is mobile phones, this is various different equipment expenditures that you need to specify. The same thing as marketing. Okay, I'm going to do a campaign in the first month, so it has to be real. It's just not like, okay, like I'm pulling it out of my sleeve, so to speak. I'm really thinking about it in advance and I'm specifying what I'm going to use it for. So give examples, especially when you're talking about, cost of acquisition. This is basically the user acquisition cost. So you're talking about the CAC, you're talking about the lifetime value of a customer, the LTV. So all these metrics actually come into play where, oh, it cost me $1 per user to get on board, or $2 per user. Basically, that's more realistic for these days. $2 per user. Maybe it goes up the more cohorts you actually add to this. But in essence, this is the thing you need to give as an example, where it's not just $500,000 for marketing. No, what are you going to do, and what is actually it's going to cost to take on board one user? So show that you thought through this. So link it to the plan. So don't raise money for the sake of raising. So this is something I have to stress as well. I've been in various startups, or involved in various startups, also raised for various startups, where the founders in the end had dollar signs in their eyes, and they thought, oh, how much do you think I can get? That's the wrong way to go around about it. You need to have a plan. So you are planning to do something. You're planning to buy a house, for example. So that house is costing you $500,000. Now, what do you need? You need $500,000. That's it. So maybe you want to remodel the house. Maybe you need to pay the realtor or something like that. Maybe you need 500,050, basically 550,000. So that's what you're gonna ask for, not more. So not, let me ask for $1,000,000, and that $450,000 that I'm not going to use or don't have a purpose for, I'm just put in the bank, or I'm going to enjoy a very good weekend in Las Vegas with it or something. So this is something that investors will be very, very, very allergic to. Um, Especially when, and that is something I'll list in a moment, keeping in mind, but when you are paying yourself salaries. So that's something you need to keep in mind, that salaries, so high salaries for founders. I'm basically asking you to invest in my company, and what I'm going to use the money for to pay myself a salary. Now, yeah, that's, they're putting in the money, you're putting in your time and effort and your sweat, so your sweat equity basically. So in essence, that's something that is a trade-off. People are not going to spend money to get your lifestyle off the ground. So, I still need to be comfortable. I still need my C-level, my corner office, my C-level salary in my corner office, basically. Um, this is where a lot of people coming from the corporate world actually going to startups or wanting to start found a startup, they need to get used to this idea where you need to be frugal. Link it, again, link it to frugality, basically. So then when you frame it, so you basically ask, so this is the amount of money I'm asking for, this is the percentage of equity if you're doing an equity round. If you're very early stage, maybe a safe note that is basically a agreement for future equity. Standard agreement, or basically simple agreement for future equity. This is something that investors normally sign. We say, okay, I don't want to think about the valuation yet, but I want to basically just invest, and later on we'll find out what this costs. So this is actually a safe note. Or debt, which means like it's a loan. People structure things in various ways. Normally, if you don't want to shed out equity basically as a startup, maybe you want to take on debt. Maybe there is no interest in an equity position, but people do want to lend you money because they think the cash flows are good enough, or the potential cash flows are good enough. So this is something you need to decide for yourself, like what is the way I'm going to do it, and describe it. So describe it. Okay, this is the method, the mechanism I'm going to do it with. This is the jurisdiction. So I have my company, for example. I'm currently in the Netherlands, so basically in the Netherlands, or I'm in Indonesia, or I'm in Singapore, or in the US, basically. So all these things are very important for investors to know. Then this is already starts to become a little bit more complicated, but tranching can be handy. So what is a tranche? Tranching is, let's say I'm raising $1,000,000, and I am not looking to close $1,000,000 all in one go. So I am actually saying, okay, I'm tranching it, a tranche of, let's say, $250,000. I'm making it into 4 tranches of $250,000 each. So you are the people who invest first, so tranche number 1. So that might be, let's say, 3, 4, 5 investors, each doing like $100,000 or $50,000 in your company, or maybe smaller. A lot of smaller checks. Normally, the checks are small at the start. You're starting maybe $10,000, $20,000, $25,000 checks, and then you move up as soon as the capital in your company is going up. This tranching is actually to maybe the first tranche will get slightly higher equity, so slightly better, because they are the first ones to trust you. It's a bit of a snowball effect where if people are jumping on the bandwagon, the fear of missing out is actually there. And people who step in the last tranche, they maybe get slight. It's not huge, but let's get a slightly worse deal than the people in the first one. So every tranche has, the discount on the equity basically becomes, maybe the last one doesn't have any discount. So that's the thing that you need to decide for yourself whether that is handy for you. I wouldn't overthink it, but for companies that are a little bit further along the line, it's handy, especially because also it becomes maybe less scary for someone to invest in a company that maybe is raising $10 million. Okay, then it's we do it in tranches now. Then the minimum buy-in is, for example, $100,000 or $50,000. Now, that check actually can still be written by most VCs and some angels, basically, as well. So keep in mind also that dilution will happen. So you're not selling your shares, you're selling actually new shares in the company, which means that your shares, the percentage of shares you're holding is actually less in the total company. So that's dilution. This is something that you need to calculate in advance. There are also no dilution clauses for investors that are coming in, so that their shares will not be diluted by future investments and all those things. Then, of course, keep in mind that you have some room for an ESOP. That is an employee stock options pool, basically, where you give your people that really matter, and of course, every employee matters, but you have some people that you've swayed. As, okay, I can't pay you what you normally would have been paid by your blue chip at your blue chip job before, but we need you to build this system for us, or we need you to get all these customers in, or we need you to do whatever we can't do ourselves. You're adding value to the company, strategy-wise, etc. So an ESOP is something that is rewarding people beyond a salary. Usually salaries are very, very bad in the in the startup world. Like companies just simply don't have the money; they still need to raise it, namely. So, in essence, ESOP, meaning shares in the company, is actually something that is reserved. So keep in mind that needs to be allocated. Normally, investors will also ask for that. If you don't have that, it means also you don't have any plan in place to keep your talent on board. So your talent will go somewhere else where there is an ESOP, or where they do pay more, or something like that. So and then last but not least, of course, be realistic and frugal. So don't, budget for things that are, wastes of money, so to speak. Like, I want to hire all these expensive people right off the bat. No, you need to do it step by step. I want to pay myself a, like 6-figure salary because I'm raising $10 million. Okay, like I need to myself to earn $1 million because now finally I've done it. I'm a startup founder. No, that's also wrong. So you need to actually pay your staff better than yourself. You basically should, I'm not saying live in a cardboard box, but there's a very interesting story. I've worked for a startup where this is quite common with that frugality was very important for investors. So there was this startup that was linked to the same investor. So they had in the same portfolio. They were, if I'm not mistaken, they were a startup that did rented out various places to stay. So it's like some sort of sharing space, basically. So like space sharing for people to rent an apartment or rent living cheap living, co-living sort of thing. And the founder, the company was doing quite well at the time, and the founder actually was still living in one of those places himself, because it didn't come with a company car. He just took one of those ride sharing things every day. So this is the thing that he needed to show, that I'm serious about investing my time, my energy, and I'm not enjoying your money for myself, basically, as what you invested in the company. So this frugality, I can't stress it enough. There are a lot of people who actually budget a lot of a big salary for themselves, because hey, I earned it, it's my idea, I'm brilliant, etc. All true, but there is a time for that, and that's not at the beginning, when you are actually asking people to take a bet on you. So they're taking a bet on you, they're betting on you, so to speak, and then wasting their money on something else than growing the business. Yeah, that is something that is a big no-no. Then also be realistic with regards to growth. When you say like, oh, I'm getting my valuation done, so the valuation needs to be realistic. Even though it's best to leave it out, let people figure it out themselves. There will be negotiation. We say, oh, I want to have 20%, or I want to give out 20% equity for $1 million. There will be pushback from investors, and maybe in the end you will have to give up 30% or 40% of the business for $1 million, or take less money for 20%. So in the end, this is something that you will always encounter. So being realistic is that in the beginning, when you don't have anything, so you say, oh, my idea is great and all these things. If you're not started, if you are really at zero, you are basically worthless as a company. So you don't have anything, any traction, anything going. An investor is taking a bet on you, so giving you the money to grow this. So yes, there will be value created, and yes, that's your work, and yes, you should be rewarded for it. But again, also be realistic that without this investor and investors' trust, you will not get where you need it to be. So this is also the thing about bootstrapping. So going with your own money, so everything you earn, you invest back in the business, or taking investor money. So there are people saying, look, bootstrap, don't take investors. There are people who say, do take investors, don't bootstrap. It's how you are yourself most comfortable. I would strongly advise to look at investments. If you look at bootstrapping, you never have enough money. Investors actually will be able to help you grow from 1 to 10, while you are maybe struggling to get from 1 to 2. So this is something that you are you need to see, like, this is the way to grow faster. And of course, you need to give up some control. You need to be fair, that if someone is taking a chance on you, that you need to reward them as well. Investors don't do this just for the fun of it. There is impact investing, of course, that is to help people, to have a social impact, basically. But in the end, a very good friend of mine, who is a venture capitalist, said once to me, I would like to earn money first, and second, if I can, I will help people. So but money first, because that's what venture capital is about. So you have to imagine that all these lofty things about, oh, we are empowering this and we are doing that, that's all very nice. It's bolting on. And of course, impact investors are a completely different breed of people. But if you're talking about the run-of-the-mill venture capitalists, the run-of-the-mill angel investors, especially private equity firms, hedge funds, they're about the money. In the end, you do it to turn a profit for the people, your limited partners who invested in you. So you need to also perform, and you can't just give it away or bet on something that is not 100% sure, that doesn't have a chance to work. So that's something that maybe from the side of venture capitalists is like that. If you're talking about the pitch deck, in essence, you can put a lot of this stuff in the appendix. So you have a lot of appendixes that you can add. So if you imagine when you do the teaser deck, there might be something, maybe one page where you mention it very shortly, how much money you're raising. But this is normally for the presentation deck, so the investor deck for presentations. And I would imagine that you have a little bit more documentation that you could possibly send, a business plan that you send to your investors. That should definitely contain much more detail. So just be ready when you are presenting to people and they're asking about it, that you are able to show it and that you are able to explain it. If you're fumbling this, the trust that you maybe have slowly started to build during the conversation is going to go away very, very fast. So I really would like you to succeed. Fundraising is difficult. Yeah, it's not easy. So let me stress that also. So if you fail, that doesn't mean that you did something wrong, or you're not good at it or something like that. You have to imagine most venture capital funds do maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 deals a year, and yeah, there are a lot of them, but there are so many more startups that are looking for funding. So don't be offended, or don't be thinking, oh, there's something wrong. I did something wrong. I should have said this. I should have said that. Sometimes it's the timing. Sometimes it's the portfolio that is not matching with what you do. Their thesis might be different. There might be the check size that they are looking at. There might be something with the market that they're going on. So venture capitalists normally have a team to go through these opportunities. So opportunities normally are, and the larger firms, of course, have complete research divisions actually for this, but some of the small ones, they need to do it themselves, the partners, or they have a couple of interns actually going through the data. And of course, nowadays, ChatGPT and the other AI tools that are are around actually take care of a lot of the money, a lot of the hard work for us. The thing is with regards to this, they will not be experts in your field. So you are the one who understands this business. So when someone rejects you, doesn't mean that they saw something that you didn't. Your idea might still be very sound, but maybe the way you've explained it doesn't resonate, or they just simply didn't understand, or they just don't believe in going to that direction. So don't take it personal. Just brush yourself off. That's what I say. Like, have a good night's sleep again and try again. That's basically the thing. A lot of deals to be made, but you need to be patient. Thanks for watching. I basically have a advisory firm called the Golden Dragon Capital, which is Indonesian company Pitikaya Abadi Sejahtera, together with my partner Felix. If you would like to send me an email, alex@goldendragoncapital.co. I actually do investor matching, so I find investors for your project. International, I have a database of 125,000 investors and about 600 that I have actively done something, or at least I'm talking to regularly. So this is something that I would like to help people with. We do this advisory also for pre-IPO. So pre-IPO advisory services, people who want to go public. It's actually less expensive than you think. So do hit us up if you think your company is beyond the startup stage, then that could be it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.